Ann DeVries, founder and CEO of the Fresh Outlook Foundation. And we are thrilled to have each and every one of you here tonight for this very important debate. The Fresh Outlook Foundation's passion is building sustainable communities through conversations that inspire positive change. The key word there being conversations. But how can we have conversations that count if we don't understand and appreciate all sides of our important community sustainability issues? We believe that the Foundation's role to stimulate meaningful and productive dialogue among people from all sectors that considers all sides of potential solutions to our urgent community sustainability challenges. And that's what this debate is all about. But the Foundation's job is also to share inspiring stories about individuals, organizations, and communities that are stepping up to the plate, pun intended. So before we get into the pros and cons of GMOs, we're going to hear from the great folks at the Central Okanagan Tree Fruit Project, Casey Hamilton and Elsa Beecher, who won $3,000 the other night at the Okanagan Changemakers pitch event in the nonprofit category, and they have a wonderful story to tell, and I thought this would be a really wonderful way to kick off tonight's presentation. So we have Casey Hamilton, Elsa Beecher from the Central Okanagan Tree Fruit Project. Please help me welcome them. Thank you for this opportunity.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so go back. Okay, so we're here today from the Food Policy Council, which is a local nonprofit working towards a just, sustainable, and healthy food system here in the Central Okanagan. And one of the ways that we're achieving these goals is through the Fruit Tree Project. So here in our community, there's about 3,000 families who rely on food assistance, and 1/3 of them are children. And not only that, but it's not uncommon to see thousands and thousands of pounds of perfectly good quality food end up rotting on the ground here in the valley. So the project was created as a sustainable alternative and a force for positive change. And the project turns backyard fruit trees into a valuable source of food for the community by harvesting fruit that otherwise falls to the ground and goes to waste. And so how it works, tree owners with excess fruit can sign up to have their fruit trees picked, and our teams of volunteers all arrive with their buckets and their ladders, and they come and pick and pick and pick. And so rather than going to waste then, the fruit is shared among the tree owners, with volunteers, and with local community organizations such as the food banks, Gospel Mission, Women's Shelter, all the way from Peachland to Lake Country. And harvesting fruit also has the ability to help create social cohesion, bringing people of all ages, cultures, backgrounds, and diverse abilities together to celebrate local food and share it with those in need. So just to recap quickly, ultimately we're about reducing food waste, providing nutritious food for those in need, and building community. All right, so we measure our social impact through our statistics. So you can look up there and see in 2012, which was our first year, with a budget of 0, we picked 5,000 pounds of fruit with 70 volunteers and shared it with 12 community organizations. So this year, in 2013, with the paid coordinator, we actually picked over 17,000 pounds of fruit with 200 volunteers and shared it with 22 different community organizations. So we've seen significant growth, and from a high-level view, these numbers are incredible. But we also measure our success through the individuals who make this project possible. For example, there's the retired orchardist who loves to come pick apples with us. He swings around in the tree like a monkey and he can outpick everybody. There's a couple relatively new to Canada who finds picking with a group is a good way to practice their English skills. And many people also come to the project because they themselves are also in need of nutritious food. For example, this summer we had a young woman join us she was really down on her luck. She was struggling to make ends meet, struggling to pay her bills. And I think the most touching part for us was that she She not only took some of the fruit home for herself, but she also went out of her way after the fruit pick to deliver it to her neighbors and her friends who were also struggling. So while numbers really matter to us in our success and our social impact, we also measure it through the unique individuals who come to the project from all backgrounds to share their fruit trees or their time or their skills to help feed our community. All right, and so this is just a list of our community partners, organizations that we donate food to. Many of these organizations have also gotten involved in picking. So for example, every week, participants from the Canadian Mental Health Association come out and pick fruit that they then use in their own programs. We had a class of middle school students come out this year too and pick as well, and they use that as part of their own programming. And what we find is that really encourages empowerment among individuals who may otherwise be isolated or not included in other aspects of the community. And it's also a way for people to feel resilient as well as they bring food home and feed themselves.
Thanks, Elsa. So when me and I'd say 5 other girls started planning this a couple years ago, we knew we wanted to do things a bit differently than the way other fruit tree projects operate in other communities. And just like Elsa said, we've been working really hard this year to engage people, not just by giving fruit to them, but by engaging people who would otherwise not have access to food to come out and pick with us and access food with dignity. So we did bring out CMHA a number of times. We've also had Freedom's Door come out with us. Next year, we're looking to reach out even more to other organizations, and we also want to work with high schools, junior highs, bring daycares out, any sort of programs, seniors groups that could benefit from picking fruit with us and taking part in building community. Another thing that we thought about when we were planning this project from the outset is we wanted to be financially sustainable. So the notion of social enterprise has been coming up a lot with our group, and how do we establish a sustainably operating social enterprise. So last year, just trying to remember what order our slides are in now. Okay, yeah, so last year and the end of this season as well, we had our great apple harvest. And that was a partnership with Summerhill Winery. And what they did was they provided us that first little bit of money that allowed us to basically pay for the juicing for the apple juice, and then what we did was we currently are selling the apple juice now, which is raising money for our project. We have a few other ideas under our sleeve right now, and we'd really like to expand the juicing operation as well as continue making some other value-added agricultural products. And actually last Thursday, just as Joanne mentioned, we have a number of people to thank as well as change makers. This is just a listing of all the organizations that have given us money. So Summerhill Winery for the juicing project, we got a $5,000 grant from the City of Kelowna Community grant through the Central Okanagan Foundation, and a $1,000 grant from the Canadian Federation of University Women. So not too much money, but it's a place to start. And as well, we like to formally thank all the other organizations on the other side of the slide who have donated things like picking bags, ladders, gift certificates, and also just promoting our project and helping us sell our juice. So thank you very much. And so finally, we just wanted to let everyone know that we are really delighted to have as many people as possible engaged with us in our project. We really do believe that people have a gift to share, and that's what it's really about. We want to see people truly engage with us, share what they can, whether that's their time, any sort of skills they might have resources, donations. We definitely have a lot of big ticket things that we're looking for, things like a truck, ladders, storage space for our ladders. Right now it's kind of operating out of my garage, so like all startups do. So it would be good to have a place for our volunteers to go that is kind of an appropriate, not my backyard, with my dog barking at them. So that's basically it. Thank you very much for your time, and enjoy the debate.
Thank you very much, and good luck with that project. Casey was telling me that there's a lot of activity on their Facebook page, Central Okanagan Fruit Tree Project, and that they would certainly welcome any donations to help them do what they do even better. So I mentioned earlier about the foundation's role being to stimulate meaningful and productive dialogue among people from all sectors that considers all sides of potential solutions to our urgent community sustainability challenges. And when people sometimes hear that we are the Fresh Outlook Foundation and that we educate people about sustainability, they automatically assume that we would be against something like GMO foods. And that isn't necessarily so. And probably mostly because we don't have all the answers, and so we can't make an informed decision as an organization. And also, as a registered charity, we are not allowed to be an advocacy group. So our role, we believe very strongly, is to get people together to talk about all sides of these issues and to let people make themselves, make the decisions themselves based on the information they receive. So I know that food is a very important issue. In fact, what could be more pressing than the future of our food? That's why we've devoted the whole day tomorrow to discussing innovative problem-solving models related to food and agriculture systems in BC. We'll talk about food-friendly plans and policies, sustainable distribution mechanisms, and First Nations food systems principles and practices. We'll also talk about building social capital through food and enabling and encouraging young agrarians. And that's just a taste of tomorrow's activities, again, pun intended. If you'd like to attend tomorrow's session, you can register at the receptionary on the way out. So this is an important debate, and one that we hope will inform and inspire you, as well as set the stage for tomorrow's discussions. In developing tonight's program, I had the privilege and pleasure of working with Drs. Arthur Fallick and Kent Mullenix. Dr. Fallick, the director of the Institute of Sustainable Food Systems at Kwantlen Polytech University, will lead you through tonight's debate, and Dr. Mullenix will participate as a debater. So please help me welcome your facilitator, Dr. Arthur Fallick, who, by the way, is one of the most gracious men I've ever met. But don't let that fool you.